All right. So I invite you to settle in, stretch up tall, elongating the spine, allowing the vertebrae to separate and grow tall. And then with an exhalation, just relax back down, letting the shoulders fall at your sides, keeping the back erect but relaxed and gentle. Allow the hands to fall wherever they feel most comfortable and supported on your lap. If you would like to close your eyes, feel free to do so. If you feel like you are getting sleepy and it would help to keep them open, just keep them aimed at the floor a couple meters in front of you. Feel that the head is suspended by a thread from the ceiling, keeping you erect but relaxed. And feel the gentle gravity of the earth rooting you to the seat or to the ground. To begin with, we will place our awareness on whichever area of the body you can feel the breath the most strongly. Do a very quick scan of the body to notice if you can feel the breath coming in at the nostrils or perhaps the rising and falling of the chest or the inflating and deflating of the belly. Wherever it is, just allow the awareness to focus on the sensation of movement or change that's happening in that place. When you have found the place that you can recognize the easiest, we'll take 3 deep inhalations, just keeping your attention on that spot. So at your own time, take a deep inhalation, feeling it expand all the way into the belly, and noticing how it affects whatever area you're placing your attention on. And then let out the breath as slowly as you can, extending the exhalation, not only until it feels naturally empty, but see if you can get even a little bit more air out by tightening the diaphragm and pulling in the stomach to make sure all of the air has left your lungs. And then just naturally allow the body to inhale deeply down into your belly again, filling up from the belly all the way up through the chest, all the way to your shoulders. And then again, when it feels right, allow it to all spill back out slowly, every last bit of air. And then at your own pace, do that one more time. Now just allow your breath to settle into its natural rhythm, either fast or slow, short or long, deep or shallow. None of that matters. If you find that it changes, that's quite all right. There's no judgment. Just place your attention back on that spot, wherever it is that you can feel the sensations moving most easily. And to begin with, we're just going to count the breaths. So on an inhalation, you'll count 1, and on an exhalation, you count 2. You can do this in your head until you reach 10, and then start all over again. If you get derailed by thoughts before then, come back to 1. If you find yourself getting distracted by thought, perfectly okay. Just let them slip past, floating through the expanse of your awareness, and simply come back to the point in your body where you can feel the sensations of the breath. If it helps to visualize the number in front of you, feel free to use that. Keep yourself on track. Any tools that make it easier for you to keep your attention on the object of your focus. If you find that today is one of those really difficult days where the mind is very scattered and creating lots of thoughts in all different directions, it might be helpful to label the type of thought when you notice it. So rather than engaging with the actual stories of the thoughts without going into the content of them and identifying with them, instead, we're just going to take the outside observer perspective. And when a thought comes up, simply notice whether it's a thought about the past, the present, or the future. And with absolutely no judgment, simply label the thought past, present, or future, and let it go. If you notice a gap in between thoughts, and rest in that space, in that silence, until another thought appears. And then again, without becoming attached or identified with it, simply notice whether it's pointing to the past, the present, or the future. You sometimes find it difficult to tell whether the thought is pointing to one of those three times. That's okay. You can simply label it thinking and let it go just as easily. Continue noticing when thoughts arise and keep letting them go, passing through the sky of your mind like birds leaving no trace. You might think that you are thinking the thoughts or creating these stories, but by paying attention to the fleeting nature of thoughts, how they simply arise out of this mysterious nothingness, appear in some gauzy screen inside the mind, and then just as quickly dissolve back into that same mysterious nothingness. You can start to notice that you don't actually know how thoughts arise or where they come from. And so you don't need to attach any more meaning to the thoughts than you do to a bird flying across the sky. What does a bird mean flying across the sky? It's simply movement. What does a thought mean? It's simply a movement. If you realize that you've been caught in another thought, that's perfectly okay. Don't judge. Just recognize that and release it. Either come back to the breath or the quiet space between the thoughts. If you notice thoughts that have a particular sticky or troubling nature to them, quickly notice when they're there if there are any changes inside the body. Do a quick scan from the top of your head to the bottom of your toes, noticing when that thought appears, are there any changes, any contractions, any tension, any feelings of queasiness or agitation? You don't need to get fixated on any of these sensations. Just notice the strange correlation to the arising of a passing thought. How strange is that? It would be like feeling anxiety every time you see a robin flying across the sky. You don't need to attach any more emotional weight to a thought than we do a random bird. So with awareness, we can decouple these sensations in the body from the thoughts we associate with them. And when doing so, the sensations can start to become much more manageable. Simply sensations felt without needing to be imbued with meaning or past history. Simply a muscle, simply digestion, simply blood flow. Again, if you find yourself being caught by another thought, it's okay. Just release it and either come back to counting the breath for another round or come back to that silence in between the thoughts. If the thoughts do silence themselves for a moment, notice the effect that that has on the body. Notice that when the thoughts aren't appearing, there's a sense of calm and peace, perhaps a sense of spaciousness, maybe a sense that you have disappeared for a moment, that all you hold on to throughout the day has suddenly been let go of. And feel how comforting that is. Locke Kelly has the question, what is here right now when there is no problem to solve? Don't turn to the mind for an answer. Simply feel when there are no problems and there are no thoughts, that profound, still, peaceful silence that awaits. There is a peaceful, calm, open spaciousness in our experience all the time, at every moment. We're just usually not aware of it because we are so caught up in our thinking minds. We're so identified with every thought being pulled from past to future and back again, playing out story after story and conversation after conversation. But underneath all of that chaos is always a perfect, still, silent awareness. So anytime throughout your day that you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or simply caught into the trap of thinking and ruminating and identifying, see if you can come back to the breath, back to the body, or back to that spaciousness, and realize that without thought and without a problem in mind, there is simply this. And this is always free. This is always unburdened. This is always nourishing and deeply relaxing, but at the same time, completely vivid and aware awake, and fully alive. Rest in that sense as long as you can. This is the sense of simply being. Taking all the time you need, start to come back into the body, feeling the breath entering the nose, going deep into the chest, deep into the belly, feeling the sensation all the way through your legs, down into your toes. And when you exhale, feeling the breath entering from the belly all the way up through the mid of the body, up through the chest, and back out the nose. Feel again that grounding of the earth pulling you down, rooting you with stability, but also providing you comfort and a calm, present energy. Wriggle your hands and toes, and eventually, when you're ready, open your eyes and move as you need.